Good morning, everyone. It's Lindsay Hostin with SPS back in the building with another SPS Monday Motivation. Yeah, I got Santa is coming. The snow is outside. I want to thank everybody for supporting SPS over these past few days. I've been home in Detroit. Was at Ford Field. Man, I could have just put a sleeping bag up under my desk at in the press box, but it was a great time for the MHSA High School Finals. Great football being played. You guys can look at my social media and see what's going on with that. But I'm happy to be here at home, at my mother's home. She has a beautiful home, and she always welcomes her son back in from East Lansing to come and crash out, and able to get up and share this message today. Who do we have early this morning saying good morning? It's Michelle Mimi Watkins. Wouldn't you know it? Good morning. How are you? In the city that we know and love, with another Monday Motivation, coming off the holiday season, or being in the holiday season, I should say, that impacts today's message. Got my brother Kevin Marshall. Good morning, my brother. Good morning to you as well, man. Thanks for getting up early with me this morning as we get out here and get things going. And what is today's message? Grudges and grace. Grudges and grace. Ooh, Lindsay, where you going with that one? Yeah. You might have to sit on this one for a minute. And I ain't here to judge or nothing like that. But over Thanksgiving, as you guys know, that I divorced in 2019. Or you may not know. But keeping on tradition, what happens is my daughter is with her mom and her mother's family during the day. And at 5 p.m., I pick my daughter up like clockwork, and we leave from East Lansing, and we go to Farmington to be with my dad, to spend time with him. My dad's a gourmet chef. He lays it out. I'm talking about you can go all day and not even eat, and just wait till the evening and you get straight. And I'll be eating them leftovers the next day. And we got over there, and as usual, we got to hang out. And I want to give a special shout out to his new wife, his bride, Lamyra Huddleston. She's really a sweet individual, caring individual. Courtney, what's going on, brother? Good morning. Got the Monday Motivation going on today. It's Grudges and Grace, and I'm talking about being with my dad. And if you guys know that I lost my godfather, Ernest L. McCoy, he passed on November 4th, but we had his memorial service November 17th. And during that time, I talked about the pivotal role he played in bringing my dad and I together, because there was a grudge going on. My dad and I had an estranged relationship for whatever reason. And it was Ernest McCoy who said, between the two of you guys, one of you guys going to have to give in. And I didn't want to do that. I was holding a grudge. And what we define a grudge as, Courtney, we define a grudge as a persistent feeling of ill will or resentment resulting from a past insult or injury. She held a grudge against her friend. I was holding a grudge, and there's no need for me to go into the reasons of why I was holding a grudge as a young man. It just was. I was holding a grudge, but Lamyra, I have to thank her. She said, a lot of people hold grudges, but, don't know that somebody was giving them grace somewhere. So we can be holding a grudge, not knowing that somebody somewhere is giving us grace. Have we been given grace before? A courteous goodwill. Somebody gave you a pass that you didn't deserve, that you wasn't really operating in. Let's talk more about holding a grudge. Holding a grudge is often in part an attempt to get the comfort and compassion one didn't get in the past. Hey, holding a grudge, man, is like sleeping in on a rainy Saturday morning, man. You want to get up in that grudge. You want to get up in there, man, and just be like, I'm here. I'm good, because it's an emotional state. It's an emotional state that we can find some comfort in, at least we feel. My brother Courtney say, no doubt. Courtney represented from the shot say, no doubt. That's my brother right there. And I'm just talking about emotions that we go through, especially as we get older, guys. I know Courtney going back to college days where we were teenagers, most part. And look at the growth we've had. We've grown. We've started our families. We've had life changes. Our partners change and different things happen. And here we are still going forward. And in many cases, like I said last week when we talked about Andre 3000, if you got the same method of thinking when you was 20 that you got at 50, you done wasted 30 years. So I'm just saying that we can come to a point that things that were hard for us that we held on to, that we can move on from. Sadly, in the effort to garner empathy, a grudge ends up depriving a person of the very empathy that's necessary to release it. So you want some empathy, like, man, they did me wrong. Don't you know what they did to me? You see how they played me? So you want that empathy, but when you hold that grudge, you just deny yourself. Let me tell you how I work with my dad and how we work with that. I remember that when I got married. And I'll never have a regret about being married. It just didn't work out, and that's another conversation. And knowing that I was going to have a child, I wrote my dad a note, which is not something I would always do, but it was a process for me. And I would say, hey, Dad, man, I'm not holding no grudge. I'm happy, man. I got a family, man. I'm good. And I realized by releasing that, I was able to enjoy my blessings even more. What I come to believe on this is this. Got my brother, it's hard, though, but I had to let it go. Hey, come on, Kevin, talk some truth this morning. On this Monday motivation. Tell the truth, Kevin. It is hard. Damn hard. And it's almost kind of like you kind of getting empowered by it. Oh yeah, it's because you know why? It's an emotion. And it's emotion that captivates us. And let me say a little bit more about that too. To check this out. What I realized is when I wrote that letter to my dad, it was almost like Indiana Jones when he would go and he would have to take one item and replace it with another. You see right here, when he had to substitute the bag of sand to get that item, well, we all know in the movie that it didn't work. But my point being is, that was the vision that I had when I thought about that. And this came during the time when I was with my loved ones. Check this out. I was there with my dad and my daughter at my dad's, and we hanging out. You know, we having a good time, and we taking the portrait of us sitting together being cool. And, hey, it's just a good time with us. My dad, my daughter. Oh, Madeline's growing up, y'all. I know, right? But that grudge, man, so many times we stay in that spot. Look at that. She mad at him. Ooh, she feeling some kind of way. T.D. Jakes says, we cannot embrace God's forgiveness if we so busy clinging to the past wounds and nursing old grudges. I'm going to read it again. We cannot embrace God's forgiveness if we're so busy clinging to past wounds and nursing old grudges. But to my brother Kevin's point, it ain't easy. It ain't easy at all. Because you're like, why am I giving up on this grudge when we didn't even fix this situation? But I'm saying, my hope for you is that you can have something to be the Indiana Jones substitute. And don't get technical saying, Lindsay, in the movie it didn't work. But my point being is you're looking at my personal life as an example to be able to have the fulfillment. And then when you get these blessings, realize, man, somebody gave you grace somewhere. Somebody gave you grace somewhere. Somebody allowed you to have that. My brother Anthony Stafford McDonald in the building says, good morning. Good morning to you, brother. We're talking about grudges and grace. Somebody gave us grace, Anthony. Somebody somewhere is giving you grace that we don't even recognize, that we don't even know about, that allows us to be able to move forward. So as you deal with that, think about what this grace is, that courteous goodwill. Somebody's giving you a pass. Let's talk a little bit more about what I got from psychology today when we're talking about these grudges. Don't hold grudges because someone gave you grace. To let go of a grudge, one must be willing to let go of the identity as they were wrong and whatever advantages that provide. Yeah, they did you wrong. They did you dirty out here in these streets. That's messed up. But man, if you can get to the point where you can recognize that, and in most cases, human nature, they're not going to come off and recognize that and acknowledge it until they see you elevate. If you steady in it, and you like, man, you did me wrong and got that attitude and you carry that energy, they're not going to come off of that. But if you elevate and you see that person and you clearly come off with an energy saying, look, man, it is what it is, that would work on them if they got a conscience. You know, some people out here are psychopaths and they don't even care. But my point being is if you can elevate and say, yeah, you did me how you did me. And I know as humans, we don't want to be dealt a certain way. We want to get our get back. But it may not be for us to get that get back because somebody gave you grace somewhere along the line. Let's think about the things that you did, that you buried in the recesses of your brain that you don't want to acknowledge and come clean with, that you may have felt short on somebody and dealt somebody in a way that wasn't really appropriate. But you were given grace. So all I want to do is say this. There's a huge relief when you let that go. And you may think that emotion or that grudge can't not be substituted, that there's such a feeling that holds you, but you want to be able to look at doing that. Here's a question I pose. Do you have the courage to forgive? I didn't say that means strength. Do you have the ability? I mean, that's a big move. What Kevin said earlier, it's hard. But do you have the courage? Well, I don't want them to think they got away with it. Who cares what they think? If they're thinking about you at all. That's the other part. Oh, we could be holding grudges on somebody and they ain't even thinking about you. Yeah, you know when you did that, you like, huh? You did what? You still, man, I ain't been thinking about that. You holding a grudge for somebody and they done moved on with their life. I want you guys to have peace, guys. I want you to have guys peace to let it go. Who is it that you resent? Who got you feeling this way? Who came to mind when I brought that up? Got my brother Jack Tripper in the Board and Western's finest. My brother Donez is in the building holding on, man. I appreciate you, brother, and all your support you give me and all the thing you got going with Cigar by Nez. You guys ready to celebrate something? Get with my guy Jack Tripper. Cigar by Nez. He'll come turn your event out. It's a good thing. Got my brother Kevin Marshall saying facts. He's saying facts. I'm hitting. Michelle's coming in. Oh, Michelle coming around the corner saying forgiveness is for you, but it's hard. But two great people I respect and admire. And they talking about how hard it is. We having an honest conversation about giving it up. I know, Michelle, you like, I don't know. My brother Chad in the building saying, good morning, SPS family. Got Reggie Wright. Brother Rebels, he said, keep up the great work. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you as well. From childhood, Little League Baseball to Hartford Memorial Baptist Church to now. Thank you. And Ned says, appreciate the love, support, family all day, every day. You got our Western brother, Courtney Alexander, on here as well. But who do you resent? And I'm not saying you turn around today and give up on it, but if you start thinking about it, and as Michelle says, the forgiveness is for you. Yeah, they did you dirty. You know what they did to me? And it feels like we can't get no accountability on their part. They ain't going to come clean. They ain't going to come off of it. They probably ain't going to come off of it anyway. You better off letting it go because they ain't coming off of it, at least not in this lifetime, at least not under these circumstances until you elevate to something else. And as Michelle so eloquently put it, as she always does, the forgiveness is for you. You sitting around and waiting for them to get right. Look at that scowl on her face. Look at that's ruining her day. But do you have the courage to forgive? Easier said than done. I'm talking about resentment I had against my own father, man. I ain't talking about my coworker. I ain't talking about my frat brother. I ain't talking about somebody. I'm talking about my flesh and blood, my dad. But God bless it. And I thank Lamira Huddleston for being big on making the connection. I thank Ernest L. McCoy. And you see that his hand ain't just on my knee because it happened to be there because he's happy that we all together. And my daughter is able to witness that. My daughter was able to hear that conversation and see that there's a way to pass through. But we're human. And as Kevin and Michelle said, it's hard. I know it's hard, but I'm just bringing this up to say there's something you want to work towards and to be able to have that release, As I wrap up, what payoff are you getting from holding on to that resentment? It make me feel good. Well, you don't know what that other substitute feeling going to be. What else can you focus on to find your peace of mind? How about this? Is it a righteous anger? And that's a whole different conversation. Is it a righteous anger? And you probably say it is, but even still, you want to get that back. And also, who might you be without that resentment? See, sometimes the resentment the grudge gives us an identity. Gives us an identity. Well, this helps me be a certain way. Well, who would you be without that resentment? I just want you guys to have the ability to move forward. Kevin Marshall comes on and says, what my brother said. I'm pulling you up, Kevin. Kevin says, I was like that with my mom for many years. Oh, brother. Oh, man, my brother up here sharing. But things changed when I forgave her. I have peace now. You hear what this brother is saying? See, he was like that with his mother for many years. But he forgave her. Kevin had the courage to forgive. And going back to that, he probably believed it was a righteous grudge. It was righteous. But he's saying how he got peace now because he forgave her. Thank you, brother, for telling and sharing. Come on, y'all. I ain't saying it's going to happen today, but just look who Kevin is now without the resentment. This brother got a platform. This brother is a pillar in this community. This brother can pass that knowledge on to these young people that look up to him. Think about the young people that come up to him with righteous anger saying, hey, man, my mom wronged me. My dad wronged me, man. And he's saying, well, let me tell you what I experienced. And let me tell you who I am. And again, Mr. Ernest L. McCoy did the same thing for me. Again, people who took their pain and were able to get through it, and they can turn around and share with you. And look what we have. I want y'all to have peace, man. I want my folks to be floating, as Chad says, the SPS family. So whether it's you or talking to someone, and you'd be surprised who the person you may become without that. Who might you be without that resentment? And I know we get so used to what we are on and what we're being, but that's it. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys. I just want you to understand that just as we have grudges, somebody gave you grace, and you want to think about that. And whoa, what a weight to be lifted. And what better time to be thinking about during the holidays. You go see certain people, whether it's a company function, whether it's a family function. And if your spirit, if your energy, if your vibration is that, if you've elevated above that, that can change the dynamics. And that may just come with a hug or a greet just to let it go, because life is too short. And I'll say this as we get ready to wrap up. If you knew that was going to be the last time you dealt with somebody with that be the way you want it to be? Some of y'all be like, yeah. Have a blessed day, brother. You blessed my day, man. All of you guys have been a blessing to me, and I hope that these words can be a blessing to you. But as we look at the finality of death and how that comes unexpected as a thief in the night, would you really want that to be the way things are? Would you really want someone to transition and it be left like that, and where you have to carry that, or you had that peace of mind? You had that peace of mind. Well, guys, hey, let's get out here, man, and let's have a great day. Let's be the best version of ourselves, or let's make an attempt towards that. As we say, it's hard. It's not easy, but I'm here to encourage you. So with that being said, this is Lindsey Housen with SPS. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for supporting the platform. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.